Right, we're going to be looking at the interpenetration of this smaller diameter circular pipe going into this large diameter cylinder over here. What we first need to look at is the numbering of this pipe. You'll see over here I've got an auxiliary view showing 1, 2, 3, 4 going round to 12 over there. I can see 1 is at the top over there, 12 and 2 on those points, 3 and 11, etc., all the way down to 7 over there. Right, if you look over here, I've got another auxiliary view, which you can put in. You don't need to put that auxiliary view in order to draw this. At the end of the day, you'll see that I've got an XY axis over here, which allows me to take measurements from there, find point 4 over here, come down, you'll see that I've got another little XY axis over here. Placing that over there will give me point 4. If I go to the XY axis over there, go to 10, bring that down to the new XY axis, and you can see point 10. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12 over there. Right. Once I've got those, you can see that these lines coming from these points are intersecting with the main cylinder over here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to find where those lines intersect, and we're going to draw that over here. You can see there's line 1, it intersects right on the edge of the cylinder. There's line 1 intersecting right on that edge over there. Line 2 comes in, okay, and it needs to stop somewhere over here. How do I get that? I find my line 2 over here, comes across, it intersects with the cylinder. I draw a line coming up over here. Where the line 2 comes in from here, I'll be able to make a little mark over there. So that would be 2. So we can call that 1 over there, 2 over there. 3, where's 3? Here's my 3 coming in over here, comes up to the top, links in with that line 3. Etc. You can see those marks coming in over here. So whatever number is, wherever that line intersects over here, draw a line coming up, find that line, and intersect it over there. Once I've got that, I can draw this curve of interpenetration in, nice and dark. Remember, always moving away from your body. Right, there's my curve of interpenetration. Now what I need to do is to do the development of that small cylinder over there. To start with, what I need is to calculate what the circumference of that small cylinder is. Pi of d2, I'm going to call this diameter 2, and I know that that diameter is 30 millimeters. That will give me a result of 94.25 millimeters, obviously just rounded off to 94. If you were actually making this, you wouldn't do the rounding off so much. You would work more accurately. Right, for our purposes, just round it off to 94. You know how to break up a line so that you have got 12 equal segments. Once I've got that, I'm going to label those things. You can see that I've started with 1 over here, and you can see that I've got 1 over here at the top. The reason being is that that line 1 is the shortest piece of line that I've got. I will always try to make my weld on the shortest line so as to not waste time doing too much welding. Right, you can see the length of that line over here. There's the base of the cylinder development. I take a line across and I mark off, that would be the top of line 1. Go across to line 2. There's line 2, there's the mark. Line 3. There's the mark. Line 4. There's your mark. Line 5. Should be slightly over there. Line 5. There's your mark. Line 6. Line 7. mark. Sorry, line 6, I made a mistake there. Line 6 is over there. Line 7 is slightly in from there. Line 8 coming out again. Line 9 coming out again. Line 10 going in. Line 11 coming in again. Line 12 going in again, and going back to line 1 over there. Right, once I've got that, I then draw in my curve of interpenetration over here. Let's see it dipping down, coming back up again, dipping down, going all the way back down to there. And that would be the curve of interpenetration. If I cut that out, wrap it together, that would fit onto that cylinder over there perfectly. Right, after that, we're going to do the development for this piece. I'm going to do another video for that, showing how I get that, that hole that's going to be cut out of the cylinder.